Should I take off my sweater? Hi, how are you? It's a pleasure to be here. Mm, Probably earlier than that. When I was 14 years old, I started weightlifting with actual in class. I took it in high school. First, I started out at 14 taking a gym class that was offered at that time. It was new, and it was aerobics. And it was an aerobics class. And I couldn't take weightlifting until 10th grade. So okay, I'll take aerobics. So I did aerobics for ninth grade. Excuse me. And then I took weightlifting for the next 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So I started out early, and it was always addicting because you saw your body change at a young age. When you're very influential, you could see the changes right away, especially with just consistency. So I was very thin and skinny, and I felt like it would help beef me up. I only weighed 105 pounds out of high school. So now I'm 120, so I got to keep 15 pounds after 5 kids, and being older in my body. So I continued with like aerobics, like heavy duty aerobics. I would do that several days a week, just outside of high school. I knew I needed to continue. I didn't have a lot of weights, so I knew I could do aerobics. That was easy. My teacher's name was Carol Whitaker. She was the short little redhead, fiery, and with that bodysuit with the spandex bodysuit with the leotards and the total 80s look. She's so cute with a little sweatband. So cute. Anyway, so I continued with doing that because I didn't have access to a gym and I didn't really have weights. But then I started to accumulate weights as soon as I could, as soon as I had enough money, or if it was a gift from someone, I started to accumulate a little circuit, a little weight circuit, with those little weights that were concrete, plastic. It had a little tiny hole like this, and you had a little crimp thing. You're used to it. 45, you're used to a 2.5-inch bar. But when you get the little at-home stuff, it's concrete. It's not steel nor iron. It's and little tiny holes, and you make do. And a little tiny bar that weighs maybe 12 pounds. But I don't know. I probably worked out 4 or 5 days a week. I probably did it consistently. I mean, I really would. No, probably. I'm going to say an hour. I mostly started putting in more time when I took on bodybuilding again heavier in 2014 and 15 is when I started back again. Was in 14 is was in 2014, and I was putting in like 2 to 2.5 hours each time, at least 3 or 4 days a week. So it was kind of a lot, and I didn't like that. I did notice it was too much. It was too fast. It was this metabolism rate was going so quick. I couldn't feel like I couldn't keep up with it. Like it was a rolling ball that kept rolling so fast I no longer had control. So I had to, like, I couldn't eat enough. I couldn't eat enough. I was just, you know, always hungry. I hate that. Full body. Full body. Full body. I always do full body workouts. You just keep going, whether the show came around or not. That was just icing on the cake, really. It was icing on the cake. I think every girl's dream it would be to be on stage in a bikini and look good, whether you place or not. I think that every girl's dream, whether she wants to admit it or not, I think every girl's dream, and I'm not one that flaunts anything. I mean, I wear full length dresses. I don't, I don't flaunt nothing. So it takes real courage to be 90% nude on stage. What do and I didn't notice any girls that were, oh, the only girls, all the different ones that I had competed in, probably 5 different organizations. The only ones that I noticed that the girls were out of control were the ones that would took supplements to enhance their physique, which, like, not to point any fingers, but NPC seemed like there was a lot of that in NPC, and which is okay if that's what they want to do. But and sometimes at Muscle Beach, there's those kind of girls come in, and it looks, I could say a handful, maybe a handful of girls I knew competing were, it seemed like obsessive compulsive, but they took it to another level. When I first knew them, when they first started out, I know a handful of girls that definitely took it to another level, and they're still competing to this day, and they're still making really great progress, and they even have their own say about it. So they probably are trainers, and they bring people to the stage too. Like, so I would say there's a handful. I'd say a handful, which is kind of rare because I've done 30 shows in 10 years. I've been exposed to a lot of people, but I'm going to say maybe a handful. I'm going to say maybe a handful took it to another level. That would include you. That would include you because I met you when you first started out. So I'm going to say only a handful. 30 shows in 10 years. It's a lot of people I've been exposed to, but I looked like I was the more extreme person amongst the group than anyone. I looked, and people do look at me like I'm extreme. I don't know. Probably just because I come in around 117, so I don't know. Maybe. You know what? People don't think like that. People don't think like that. That is so fresh and new and exciting. It should be a norm, but you brought that idea to the, really, I think you just brought that fresh and new. Maybe it's so scarce and rare that it's not heard of. But because I know you. Right. Yeah, like a written prescription, you need to go to the gym. Yeah, yeah. No, I would say no. That's a fully fresh new. Yeah, yeah, I I've taken psychological tests, and I've done those extensive tests, and they do repeat the questions over and over and in a different way. But yes, Okay. All right. All right. No. Have I ever stopped exercising? Well, I'm sorry. No. No, if I want to, I will do it. Yeah. Unless there no, no. I would say no. Nothing stopped me. Not getting injured, not spending too much time exercising. I'm not spending enough time exercising. Honestly, I'm not spending enough time. I think people need for sure 1 hour a day. It doesn't have to be vigorous. It just needs to be some kind of movement. And if you can put in 20 minutes of vigorous in within that hour, you're going to have some kind of progress moving towards your way. It's just, you're going to see improvement no matter how you slice it up. But for sure, because we're being bombarded with so much electrical impulse everywhere, with our cellular phones and the computer and the lights and the everything. Some people drive electric cars. It's, there's a lot of bombardment hitting the natural energy of the body. So when we make time to exercise, we break those negative energies up. And the bonus is what you're studying. The bonus is that you can achieve sobriety, achieve the goal of staying sober through routine exercise, because habitual drug and alcohol is exactly that. So why wouldn't you want to switch that habitual movement to something more positive that's going to benefit you? Even if you can't stand up, there's chair exercises. I mean, there's so many ways to get the blood flowing, and we have to get the blood flowing no matter what. So no matter, it can't be an addiction. Or it has to be addiction. I'm not even sure how you want to word it. It can never. I don't know anybody who's that addicted. Unless you're taking supplements, you're just speeding up the natural process. I'm more of a nerd or addiction than anybody I've ever met. You're the second person I've ever met that is as nerdy as I am about fitness. Honest to God. Because it's something you have to be friends. You got to be friends. Not this part, friends with exercise. You have to. So you're preaching to the choir. I'm not sure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because it immediately triggers and makes your mood, it changes you from whatever mood you're in to stimulate you to thinking about anything else but whatever it was that was irritating you. You're going to be forced to think about something else, whether it's your breathing, your movement, or the next exercise, whatever. But it is positive, all around positive. Wait, injured from doing chores at home? Yes. Wait. Um, no, when I don't work out, I get injured doing my chores, because when you work out, you do full body movements, and when you do chores, it's usually you're running the right arm with the vacuum and the mop, and so you don't balance anything out. You try to do left, but you're not getting anywhere fast. So, but exercise is a balanced movement. That's why I like full body exercises. But cleaning is like my right hand gets tired of pushing and the left hand gets tired of holding. Like it's the movement is not right in the shoulder, and you're like this when you walk up. You're like, so the exercise opens it back up. So it does get in the way. If you want to complete the job at getting your chores done, you're gonna need to be kind of fit. I can put 9 hours of cleaning in. How many people can put 9 hours of cleaning in? I don't know. I don't know that many people. So I didn't notice if it caused any trouble with family or friends. I never noticed because it was something I would do at home. If it was, I was lucky enough to get to a gym because I had kids and at home, and so I would always bring in little exercise pieces. It was always like a bicycle or a stair stepper thing, and it was nothing, nothing overly fancy. But I would always have something, and my kids, I always, I still have a workout room in my house, so it's I've always had stuff, and stuff comes and goes. You donate, and then you collect more, and if you're lucky enough to have it. So, all right. No, 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 never, never, never. No. I think it doesn't take a lot to get the results when you're already close to the weight that you want to be. If you have weight to lose, you can't really make that assessment until you get to the goal you want to be. But I'm only talking about a 10-pound range. So when I first met you, I was 10 pounds heavier than what I needed to be. And, even though it took me a year because I'm not in a hurry apparently, but it's I think as you get older, it does affect your metabolism and how you lose weight and how fast. But the more time you put in, the faster it will go. And I wasn't willing to put in all those hours like I did before. I was willing to take my time. So it depends on how fast you want to achieve your goal. If you're, and how much effort you want to put in. There is no negative There'll be no negative. The more effort you put in, you will see every effort you make. It will not be wasted. Every effort you put in, it will not be wasted. You will see results. And like consistency. Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why I observed you for a long time. That's why I observed you for a long. No, no. No. Yeah, definitely. And if you have something bothering you or driving you, like maybe a spouse that is insistent that you be a certain weight, then there's too much pressure there. I don't have that. I don't have anything like that. And weight has never been an issue for me, never, because I do like working out. So even after 5 kids, the most weight I ever was, pregnant, like 160 pounds, 165 pounds. It's like, and all my babies were big. They were all big because I ate a lot of beef. So, so I would love to anytime. I hope I didn't keep you too long. Thanks, Megan. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.